A huge part of selling then is, and a great sales tool is webinars. So webinar is like a recorded or a broadcast online seminar. It might be 30 minutes, sometimes they can be 90 minutes. They are getting a little bit shorter, and that's no harm. Like an hour and a half is a lot of time to expect somebody to commit to sit there at a screen and watch. I tend to do them for 30 minutes. So it's an online seminar, usually free. So the first webinar that I did was 30 Facebook tips in 30 minutes. And I had 4 sales after 30 minutes before I got up from the table. And maybe 20 in total as a result of the webinar. So 4 by 97, I got almost €400, 4 sales from that webinar, and it took me 30 minutes. Now, okay, there was prep time. And I was nervous delivering the first one. It's hard to deliver energy into a laptop, presuming people are out there. You know, is there anybody out there? So, but you can see who's out there. So you can see the names of the people and everything else. But it's basically, it's the ultimate try before you buy. I'm giving you this education for free, and you don't have to travel. I'll give you a recording of it afterwards for free, and you don't have to travel. And you'll learn something, and your life will be better, and you'll be able to do something you couldn't do before. I can save you time if you do this webinar. So it's a very successful sales tool. It's a great lead magnet because people have to register for the webinar, so you get their email address. Okay? You get their email address. It doesn't give you free rein to bombard them with emails. Okay? So it's not like don't abuse it at all. But it's a great lead magnet because they have to sign up. And at the end of the webinar, then of course you do the sales pitch. But it's convenient for you, the presenter, and of course it's convenient for the attendee because nobody has to travel. So there's various, I've tried various times, 10 in the morning, 6, 8, 9. Did a survey recently and 10 in the morning came back from my email list. But, you have 1 or 2. I'd rather do it at 8 or 9 o'clock, children in bed, etc. But 10 came back in that particular, 10 in the morning, in the office. I'm in the office, I've got an hour done, I've cleared a few things out of the way, etc. At 10 o'clock, I'm ready to do the 30 minutes, and then I'll get on with the business day. So people can try before you buy. As I say, it's excellent for building your email list. You can record and reuse it for future sales and marketing. You can put it on it can be your landing video. It can be used in various scenarios for your sales and marketing. There are 2. Well, GoToWebinar has been the industry standard, it and WebEx for a good many years, and then Webinar Jam came along. GoToWebinar is $99 a month. Webinar Jam is $297 for the year. So you're talking about $900 of a saving over the year, if you're going to use it over the year, of course. You do get a 30-day free trial, or at least you used to with GoToWebinar. So, you could do a few in that 30 days and try it out. Webinar Jam sits on top of Google Hangouts, so there's no software for the attendee to download. There's pros and cons for both. There's solutions coming out all the time. The point is that webinars work. Okay? There's also automated webinars where you can pre-record the webinar but put it out there as if it was live. You just wouldn't call it live, you just call it an event. The reason, and people say, well, why is that just not a video sitting on your website? It's the psychology of people scheduling it into their life. If you can watch it anytime, it's usually never. If it's 6 o'clock on Tuesday, oh yeah, I'm around 6 o'clock on Tuesday, I'll put it in. But you don't have to be with automated webinars. The guys that make Webinar Jam have Evergreen Business System, which does automated webinars. You can take a video from your existing course, make sure it suits to be a webinar if you like, stick it into the system and schedule it to go out at 6 o'clock. When I say go out, it'll come on at 6 o'clock. People sign up in advance as if it was a regular webinar. They get an email, your webinar is about to start, and they log on and you're there. Hi, welcome to the webinar, deliver the content. You can even, with Evergreen Business Systems, fake a little bit of chat that's going on as if people are asking questions. Not suggesting that you would, but it's possible. But you're not saying it's live. The only reason you're doing a set time is the psychology of people booking it into their life. And you can run them more often. You can say the webinar is on next Monday, Wednesday and Friday at 10 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 8 o'clock and 10. So you're giving the attendee the flexibility of it suiting their schedule. Joint venture webinars, they're the thing to do as well. The reason being is you get access to other people's email list. So I rang up an IT company that I used to work for and I said, I'm doing a webinar on Facebook marketing. It'll be 30 minutes. I'll brand it with your logo and mine. I'll say it's brought to you by this company X. I'll say very quickly what you do and how wonderful you are, because they are a good company. And I'll run it. I'll mention you again at the end. And all you've got to do, company X, is email your customers that I know you do on a regular basis anyway, and tell them about this free training that you've organized for them. And I'll do everything else. And they did it. And they have 600 email addresses of business owners on their books, and about 43 turned up and a few sales. And even without the sales, there's now 600 companies that now know about me, and I don't have their email address. And it came from somebody that they trust. One guy actually bought the course, and they said, when it came from company X, and they've been so good to us over the years, it was a no-brainer for us to turn up for the webinar and buy the course. Because they didn't buy it just as a charitable thing because the company X was so good. They wanted the course anyway. But it was really a no-brainer because of the trust that company X had built up with that customer. So you get good at webinars, you ring companies that you have relationships with who already are in regular communication with potential customers that you could sell to. And you list out all the things that you'll do. I'll host it, I'll brand it, I'll produce the content, I'll do X, Y, and Z, I'll do a recording of it, I'll make the recording available to them, and all you've got to do is email your list. And they're doing it anyway. So the value you get relative to what they have to do is huge. The value they get is also huge because they'll stick out from the crowd versus their competitors. This company X, they value me as a customer so much, they're organizing free training for me now on stuff I need to learn. So joint venture webinars, you offer to host it, you co-brand it, you could interview an expert. They could be in San Francisco. Just mean money you'd have to get up at an irregular time, well, depending. But you interview them and that could be your webinar because they'll email their list as well. Because we might start off, who's got an email list here at the moment? How many's on yours? 600. Fiona, how many's on yours? 350. James?
I have 650 active.
Okay. Okay.
There's more on it that they would be.
Yeah. Like one joint venture webinar could double your list. And it comes from somebody that they trust, not you forcing yourself on them. Huge value in joint venture webinars, huge. And then you may, like Company X didn't want to do a revenue share for me or with me because I worked with them, but you might just really put this massive cherry on the top and go, by the way, I will give you half of all revenue earned from that webinar. You tell your JV partner. So they get all this value, but you have to remember the value in the list. Some of those customers, some of those email addresses, and remember they're people, by the way. Don't treat them as email addresses, they're actual real people. The lifetime value of some of those, particularly if you're a product staircase, could be thousands. If they have a list as well and they become a good affiliate for you, could bring you in thousands. So joint venture webinars, if you're going to do webinars at all, which you have to consider, you have to then consider a JV.